Jack, is that the strangest game of rugby you've ever played in?
Yeah, probably up there with the most chaotic. Like I said, outside. That and probably being involved in a group like Scotland away as well 2 years ago. Pretty chaotic, yeah.
Obviously, you came in after Tommy's injury. Sorry, I'm losing track of all the events that happened there as well. But just on your own yellow card, how frustrating was that at the time? Did you think it was there to be played? What was kind of going through your head?
Yeah, just coming in, you're kind of trying to bring that energy, and probably went over that edge and was a little bit desperate with trying to put back end pressure, and as a result, it was costly. You know what I mean? And there are things that you're trying to avoid. It's in my control to avoid that, and it's something that frustrating for the group, that the impact it has.
And then just Andy spoke after the game. He said like his main emotion is pride, despite everything that went down out there. Like, do you think it was one of those games where a different team probably would have lost that by 30+ points?
100%. I mean, to be down to 12 men and I know there was obviously the penalty try, but to not concede outside of that, the way that the forwards defended on our goal line to get the penalty underneath the post in the second half, the clearance kick, that can't be looked past. I know it might have looked like we, conceded yards and they were in our 22 a lot, and then towards the last 10 minutes we released the valve and we got down there. But to be part of that group, that's why it hurts when you do, go off the field and you're hurting the group. But to be part of a group that has such fight and character for that to give us a chance in the last 10 minutes. I'm sure a lot of people watching on is probably going to think, right, this game's done. But the belief, the fight for one another, and how we want to represent each other, because we know what work lads are putting in, we know what work the coaches are putting in, and we've unbelievable pride to represent one another out there, those that are playing and those that aren't.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Jack, Helen talked about being adaptable in the game yesterday. How much did you have to adapt in that game when it just seems like it was players coming off, going off, positional swaps, substitutes? You talked about the chaos. Tell us what it was like being in the middle of it.
I think calmness, you know what I mean? You're present with the situation that's at hand. The coaches, the key leaders in the group, how put a plan in place and not fazed by it. And I mean, that's what you saw when the lads went out for that next 10 minutes in the second half. Like, there was no panic. It was, right, this is the situation, this is how we're going to handle it. And I thought, like, the fight to do that, and even the smarts to deliver that and to not give them an inch. And then you marry that, because it has to be married with attitude and belief. And when you combine those two, you got us to keep in the fight, and we were there until the end.
Just one more for me. What did you learn about South Africa tonight? Were they exactly what you expected, or were there some things that were maybe...
Yeah, absolutely. They're world-class side, big men, physical. They'll challenge you up front, and we got what we expected from them, and they're world-class side. And if you do lack discipline, like we did at times, they're going to punish you. Yeah, they're going to punish you.
Suzanne?
Yeah, hi Jack. I'm curious, Kate spoke about it briefly, but what was said at half-time that made you guys come out and put in that huge fight that you're talking about?
What you're representing, but like that, there's an air of calmness in the messages that are delivered, and how we're going to go about it. Clear plan, and then you marry that with the attitude to represent each other, to not back down, to not take a backward step, to not give them an inch, and then actually go and attack the game. To not sit back and allow them to just dictate the game. Even down to 12, you've still got a fighting chance, and if there's any bit of a chance, you'll drive on.
When you came back on after the stint in the yellow, obviously playing at fullback, difficult, you had to adapt, there wasn't a choice, but did you enjoy it somewhat in the game?
Yeah, absolutely. The atmosphere out there the crowd was unbelievable. The atmosphere out there was right behind us. I'd like to think that they could see the fight in us, that we weren't backing down, that we were representing something greater than ourselves. And we wanted to show that, and we also wanted to win. You know what I mean? We believed we could, and to be a part of a group that fights that way and fights for one another and doesn't back down. I'm grateful to be a part of that group.